Okay, I'm going to try something new this time, so I would greatly appreciate your feedback on this and if it's something you'd like me to continue doing. So I'm going to be switching from the document camera to my screen, and we're going to try that out. So starting off with your problems, I want y'all to see. We're going to start with the document camera actually, so let's go there. So this is the problem that I have pulled up on my computer. And I wanted to show you all how to work this out. So we have x plus y equals 8 and x minus y equals 6. So we're going to start by combining these. So we're going to act like we're adding them. So x plus x would give us 2x, and that looks crappy. And y subtract y, or y plus negative y, is 0. And then we have 8 plus 6 is 14. So I have 2x equals 14. So then I would divide by my 2 to solve for my x, and my x equals 7. Then to figure out what y is, I substitute that 7 into the equation. And to this side have more room, and I'm really not going to. So I'd have 7 plus y equals 8. So when I subtract my 7, y equals 1. And I can check these on this one. So if I put 7 in for x, 7 subtract 1 equals 6. That's true. So I'm going to go, or I'm going to wait real quick on that. So before I go to graph these, I have to solve them both for y to figure out what my slope is, because I'm going to be going from my slope from the point, this point right here, 1, 7, or 7, 1 that I found, because I'm going to start there each time. But I need to know the slope of both of these lines to be able to graph it later. So if we have x plus y equals 8, I'd solve this for y. So y equals negative x plus 8. I only care about the slope. So since this is negative here, my m would be negative 1. Then my other one, I have x subtract y equals 6. So when I subtract my x over here, I have negative y equals negative x plus 6. You can't have a negative y, so we divide by that negative 1 to get y equals x subtract 6, because we change the sign of everything when we divide by the negative. So this one's slope would be positive 1. Now let me show you. Share, make sure I have the same problems. So I have 7 and my y value, that 1. And then when I go to graph this, I'm going to start at 7, 1, because that point we're finding is where the two lines are going to intersect. So my first slope was negative 1, so down 1, up 1. And I'm going to click it again to get another one. Go back to 7, 1. And my other slope was positive 1. And graph the lines, and this is one part. Do I have the same equation? And my point is 7, 1. Wait, what did I say? I did it at 8, 1. Okay, clear. I'm gonna leave this too, so y'all know I'm human. Although you probably can tell because I look like a mess formed over right now. So 7, 1. So the first time I did it, I was plotting at 8, 1, y'all. Oops, my bad. Oh, continuing. And remembering to slow down. Oh, so on this one, make sure I have the same problem printed out. And I'm gonna switch you to my document camera. Cool. Okay. So when I go to this one, when I add them together, I don't have one that's just going to disappear, and I need it to just be X or Y. So this is a negative y and this is positive 2y. So I'm going to multiply this equation right here by 2. So when I go to combine them, that 2y and 2y will cancel out. So 2 times 4x is 8x, 2 times negative 1, negative 2y, and then I have to do 2 times 5 as well. And then I'm going to rewrite this one, 3x plus 2y equals 12. So when I go to add these together, 8 plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, negative 2 plus 2, zip, 10 plus 12 is 22. So x equals 2. Then I'm going to substitute this into an equation. So 4 times 2 subtract y equals 5. So 8 subtract y equals 5. With my 8, negative y equals negative 3. So y equals 3. Check it with the other one. So where do I want to write that at? I need to leave room to be able to find my slope. So I'm going to write it down here. 3 times 2 plus 2 times 3 equals 12. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. Cool. So this is going to be my point. So every time I graph, I'm going to graph from 2, 3. Now I have to find the slope of both of those lines. So when I go to graph it. So let's do this one first. So I'd subtract my 4x. So negative y equals negative 4x plus 5. We divide by our negative. So y equals 4x subtract 5. So my slope on this one is 4. Then I have 3x plus 2y equals 12 here. Subtract 3x. 2y equals negative 3x plus 12. Divide by 2. So my slope on this one would be negative 3 halves. And let's go to graph that. So I have 4 and negative 3 halves, and my point is 2, 3. So we're going to go back to this one. And x is 2. Y is 3. Then click to enlarge. We're going to start from 2, 3. Got it right this time. And my first slope is positive 4, so up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. Then 2, 3 again. And the slope is negative 3 halves, so down 3. 1, 2, 3, right 2. So next problem is 2x equals 12, x plus 2y equals 0. Okay. This one's easier in that we don't have to work that hard to solve for x because there's an equation that just has x. So this top one gives us x equals 6. 12 divided by 2. So then we have 6 plus 2y equals 0. So 2y equals negative 6. When we divide by 2, y equals negative 3. So 6 and negative 3. And then the slope of that first one, it's the line x equals 6. So yeah. And then 6, negative 3 is our point for the other one. It'll be prettier on my MATLAB. We need to find our slope on this one. So let's see, we have plus 2y equals 0. Subtract my x. 2y equals negative x. Divide by 2. So our slope is negative 1 half. So let's go back and I may be giving y'all whiplash. I'm sorry. Sure. So we had x equals 6 and y equals negative 3. Check. So our point is 6, -3. And that top one is that vertical line, so it doesn't matter where you put that other point. Then let's go back to 6, -3. And our slope was -1/2, so down 1/2. The big thing is just remember you have to solve for y to get that slope. We don't really need the y-intercept, but we have to have that slope. All right, 2x subtract 3y equals -4. And 10x plus y equals 12. Did they not make us craft this one? How lovely. So I may not hop back over here. Share. So on this one, I always look for the ones that have the different signs. And then I know that this has 3y and I want it to cancel each other out. So I'm going to multiply this bottom one by 3. I'm going to rewrite the top. 3 times 10 is 30x. 3 times 1, 3 times 12. Now I'm going to go to combine them and have, I'm going to write it over here too since I wrote so big. 32x, -3 plus 3 is 0. That's the reason we did it. 36 subtract 4 is 32. So on this one, x equals 1. Then I'm going to substitute this into either equation. I'm going to use the bottom one. So 10 times 1 plus y equals 12. So I'd have 10 plus y equals 12. Subtract my 10. Y equals 2. Check that. So 2 times 1 subtract 3 times 2 equals -4. 2 subtract 6 equals -4. Check. So I'm going to keep going since that one didn't have a graph. Here we don't have to do anything because -2y plus 2y. I'm always looking for the same number with different signs so that I can chop. So 6 plus 12 is 18x. -2 plus 2? Nope. 7 plus 17 is 24, correct? I think we divide by 18 on both sides. This is going to be a fraction. 6 goes into both, so 4/3. When we go to check this one, let me see. Let's do the top one. 6 times 4/3. Subtract 2y equals 7. 6 times 4 is 24 divided by 3 would give us our 8. Let's subtract my 8. So -2y equals -1 divided by -2. Y equals 1/2. Remember when you do these, you multiply by the top and divide by the bottom. So 6 times 4, 24 divided by 3 gave me that 8. So I have 4/3 and 1/2. And they don't have us grab that one either, so we're good to go. The perimeter of a rectangular floor is 120 feet. Find the dimensions of the floor if the length is 5 times the width. I need more paper than that to write this one down. I don't want to do it. So I'm going to just flip it to the back. So our perimeter equals 120. Our length is 5 times our width. So length equals 5 width. Okay, that's right back here. Perimeter equals 120. Length equals 5 width. You know when we have, and it told us it's a rectangle. So we have length and width. And perimeter is the distance around. So we have length and width. So we'd have 2L plus 2W equals 120. And I know length equals 5 width. So I'm going to take this 5W and substitute it in for my L. So I'd have 2 times 5W plus 2W equals 120. So 10W plus 2W equals 120. So W equals 10. Then I'm going to substitute this in to this one. So L equals 5 times 10. So our length is 50 and our width is 10. What did they ask us? The floor has a length of 50 feet and a width of 10 feet. One year, there was a total of 32 commercial and non-commercial orbital launches worldwide. In addition, the number of non-commercial orbital launches was two more than twice the number. So two more than twice the number of orbital. Twice the number of orbital. I don't want to put a O there. And then non-commercial. So I'm saying orbital, whatever is O, and non-commercial orbital is going to be N. So it's two more than twice the number of commercial, or I guess I should have done C and N. Okay, so 1 year there was a total, so C or O plus N is 32. And then of non-commercial, in addition, the number of non-commercial orbital launches, so this equals N, was two more than twice the number. So you have to have two equations to be able to work these out if you haven't figured that out yet. So let's see if this is what N equals. I'm going to substitute that into this. So I have 0, or that's why I shouldn't use an O, because that looks like 20 now. 2 plus 2, and I'll make it a small o, equals 32. Go ahead and subtract my 2. So 3O equals 30. Yeah, that was done. So orbital equals 10. And then I'm going to put this into this. So I'd have 2 plus 2 times 10 equals N. So 22 equals N. Kind of want to check that one. So we have 22 and 10. That was all over the place. Don't use an O. Movie theater charges $5 for adults and $3 for senior citizens on a day when 324 people paid for admission. The total receipts were 1,192. How many paid were adults and how many were seniors? How do I want to write these? Five for adults, 3 for seniors. So I know 5A, 3As equals 1,192. Because if I'm using money, that's how I get there. And then I should have A plus S equals 324, because that's the adult and seniors. And then when I multiply it by the price, I get the amount of money. So let's say if we did 324 subtract the students, it should equal the adults, and then we're going to substitute this into this. I need another perspective. Let's just do that. So I'm gonna have $5 for adults plus $3 for students equals $1,192. Then I'm saying if I have 324 people total and I take away the students, I'm left with the adults. So I'm going to substitute this in for this. So I'd have 5 times 324, take away my students, plus $3 per student equals 1,192. Let's 5 times 324 is 1,620. Subtract 5s plus 3s equals 1,000. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. And it's okay that it's negative because I'm going to have negative 2s here. So 1192 subtract 1,660 is negative 428. When I divide by my negative 2, everything becomes positive again. So I'm saying there's 214 that are students, and so 324 subtract 214 is going to give us our adults. Equals adults, so 110 equals adults. Now let's go ahead and check that with our prices. So if we had 5 times 110 plus 3 times 214, what does that equal? I didn't mean to use my calculator on that, but I'm kind of addicted. And that was what we were wanting. So there were 110 adults. Oh, I was saying students, and 214 senior citizens. My bad. I think this is our last problem. Solve the systems of equations if the system is necessary to say it is inconsistent. So I'm looking at the numbers, and these have the opposite sign, so I need to multiply this one by 3. So I'm going to rewrite the top. And then I'd have 3x subtract 3y, and 3 times 1/2 would be 3/2. When I combine, I'd have 7x equals, and 9 plus 3/2, that'd be 18/2 here. 18, 19, 20, 21. Whatever. Divide by 7. X equals, and this is a fraction, so 21 over 2. And it's divided, so it'd be 1 over 7. Which would be over 2. That was awful. Use a calculator. It'll be easier. So now I have 3/2 subtract y equals 1/2. So 1.5 subtract what equals 0.5. Okay, y'all share your thoughts on that video, please, so I know whether I should do this or not.